All right, so are you the spender or the saver? Hi, I'm Savannah Taylor, and welcome back to the Alabaster Box, where I show you how to reach your relationship goals with your truth, your worth, and your best. Well, if you have been married for longer than 5 minutes, you already know that finances have a way of cutting that honeymoon short. Matter of fact, you guys don't need me to show you any statistical slides as evidence that finances have this way of just sending relationships off into the ditch. I mean, it can really be a huge factor with couples not being happy, arguing, and unfortunately, in some instances, splitting up. Well, if arguing about finances has been sucking the life out of your marriage, I'm going to give you 4 really great ways to, first of all, stop arguing about money. And second, I'm going to show you how to get on the same financial page, some actual tips and tools that you can use starting today. All right. So if you're ready to get started, please hit the subscribe button. And if you want to make sure you never missed any of my videos, click the bell and you'll get notified whenever I post a new video. So if you're ready, let's go. Step number 1. Use smart talk. All right. Now, mind you, I did not say smart mouth. What am I talking about here? I'm talking about timing. Timing is everything. If the situation is still too hot, not smart. Not smart at all. Wait until things cool down. Smart talk is also about really knowing your partner. For example, I'll use us as an example. If the football game is on, or the basketball game, or the baseball game, anything that's on ESPN, that is not a smart time for me to go and talk to my husband about finances. And hey, it's the same with me too. If Dr. Austin or Dr. Kane is doing something on The Resident, don't bother me, right? It goes both ways. So it's about knowing your partner and really being tuned in to when is a good time to approach. So use smart talk. Now, another tip could also be, I know a lot of times if I'm the type of person where I like to look you in the eye when I'm talking, but you know what? Some of us aren't like that. Some people like to be active while they're talking. I know my husband, a lot of times we get better conversation if, he's able to do something, sitting and actually talking, that can be a little stressful. So while you're cooking in the kitchen, while he's fixing something, repairing something, or being active, even playing on the phone, talking, some people are more receptive with that type of setting. So that's also a part of smart talk. Step number 2, pick a positive. Okay, so picking a positive means validation. That's really what we're talking about here. Very powerful, often underestimated how powerful validation can be. And what you're going to do in this instance is you're going to do your very, very best to try and think of one thing that your spouse got right. And it could go anything. For example, you know what, babe? You were wearing that color the other week. I like you in that color. Yeah, I think that's kind of hot. Tell me if that don't work, right? Or you can even try something like, you know what, babe, I wanted to tell you the other day, thank you so much for making the kids' lunches. I really appreciate it. Appreciation, validation. You saw me get it right. And that's a lot of times what couples really want to hear. They want to hear that you at least caught them doing something right before you go in, right? So if you're ready for step number 3, bring them a sandwich. Now, no, I'm not talking about an actual sandwich. Although, a good ham sandwich I've heard can work wonders, but that's not what I'm talking about. Bring them a sandwich. What does that mean? It means you're going to bring your concern, but you're going to sandwich it between 2 positives. Now, this may sound a little bit like step 1, but it's different because it would go something like this. And I'll just give you an example. Feel free to use my words. Babe, you know what? I thought about what you said the other day, and you're right. I could have waited to buy the shoes. Or, babe, you know what? I thought about what you said yesterday, and you're right. What I said, I could have said it a little nicer. Who wouldn't appreciate that? You're right. And then what you say is, I'm just really concerned about our finances and I want to get this right. Do you think we could try this? And guess what? This could actually be what you initially brought up before things went off into the ditch into an argument. But because you've prefaced it with some validation and encouragement, the other person is probably more apt to hear you. So next time, try bringing them a sandwich. Step number 4, make a date. Yay! Date. We all like that word in marriage. Make a date. So what I mean by this is, once you have all of this, your plans in place, it's important to plan out who's going to do what when. So one person may agree to call the credit card company and work out that whole situation, and another person may agree to call the cable company and dispute those charges. But you have a time and a date as to who's going to do what. And it's a really great way to share the load. I'll share a little thing that my husband and I used to do early on in our marriage is I used to actually post next to the computer or somewhere in the office what monies were coming in and what monies were going out. And this is a great tip, a great tool to use, especially if you're the one who's managing the money or managing the budget for whatever reason, because it lets the spender know. They may see that and be like, whoa, we might need to slow down a little bit, but it also lets the saver know, you know what, maybe we can loosen up the reins a little bit and do X, Y, Z or whatnot. So make a date. Now, with all this said, it's important to remember that managing finances as a couple requires you to think of it like a garden. If you know anything about gardening, no one leaves their garden unattended for weeks and then expects this bumper crop. No, you got to go water it. You may need to pull up some weeds. You might need to add some soil. It's the same thing with managing finances together. Your finances really should be followed up on weekly. Now, if the other person is not able to sit and do that every week, it's okay to maybe give them a visual, like with the post that I talked about earlier, so that they can actually see where the household finances are for the week, and they'll find it very helpful. Listen, if you guys have gotten any value out of this video, please click the like button and subscribe. You can also hit the bell in case you want to be notified whenever I post a new video. And if you like what you've heard, there's a lot more where this came from in my book, He Who Finds a Wife, Biblical Principles for the Believing Woman Who Dates. You can find it on Amazon, and I've included a link down in the description for this video below. But before I go, quick question. What are your tips for how you manage finances as a couple? I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. I also have an entire Facebook community at Savannah's Alabaster Box. You can also find me on Instagram. Until then, live your truth, live your worth, live your best. And I'll catch you next time when we see what's inside the Alabaster Box. Bye.